which was brilliant.
Alright, looks like we're taking a little bit of extra time here. Oh, never mind. Jinxed it. Damn. There we go.
Nailed it. Cursed Hollow. Fair enough. Nothing. I personally think they actually should have just... Okay, Dragon Shower was banned,
by
so
SoA.
I could see the logic by SoA. Okay, so that's why Battlefield actually got through. Okay, another 100% win rate, but only after 2 games. I can see the logic here.
I can't believe that in 3 phases of HGC China that we've been casting together, SPT only played 2 games on Cursed Hollow.
I know, right? That's so weird. But, well, that's fine, I guess, but I do still believe that this was a mistake. I think that SoA should have taken first pick again to repeat the same strategy.
Maybe they're just gonna ban Tassadar though, and kind of go for a similar approach. But I agree. Against a team like SPT, going for the first pick is definitely something to do. However, I'm normally not always a fan of it. Tetra is neither, but I think here it would have been a nice thing. But maybe it's gonna pay off dividends to go for Cursed Hollow, because as we saw, not only in terms of, you know, overall sample size, SPT is not really looking too good on Cursed Hollow, but also in terms of experience. As a result, maybe they're not comfortable playing on this map. Maybe they haven't practiced it a whole lot because they're always banking on it getting banned one way or the other. So let's see if this could be a potential soft spot for SPT.
Yep, there is one way to find out as we await for the bans to happen. Genji already removed by SPT, which actually saves SoA some effort. The correct response, I believe, here would once again be to ban out the Tassadar.
Tassadar definitely, once again, takes it away or bans it out from Melody C, and also takes away a lot of power from the Vala that is most likely going to be picked by Quan Zhao once again. And I do have to say, Tetra, in that last game, it was definitely Li Ming going for that heavy damage, whereas Vala was oftentimes not even a factor.
True. But I would argue that the Valor would have been a factor if that situation had come to pass. It would have been much worse.
So last phase, when SoA's roster was still a little bit different with players like Tank Ovo in the mix, they were sometimes falling back on the Kelthas as some of their, or one of their comfort assassins. Not sure if Molly and TY have sort of inherited that playstyle. Once again, we see the Tassadar being taken away. I think that's a very logical step, very good move. Immediately, though, they secure the Ariel, and that support unfortunately also works very well with Quan Zhao's Vala, so tough times. Uther being locked in. Please pick a Lunara now, please, guys.
I would agree with this. Nope, here comes the cow. So SPT can now either pick Vala or Lunara, or both.
Yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't hate it. I'm not sure if Melody C plays a lot of Lunara or Vala, but if they went for both, they would have an exceptional backline, lots of hope generation no matter which assassin is currently doing better in teamfights, and most importantly, the Lunara would continue to bully and dismantle Uther compositions. I think to this day, in this week 4, Uther hasn't won a single game against the Lunara comp. I might be wrong in this, don't quote me. Actually, that's true. That's not true. Yesterday, SPT won with an Uther comp against Lunara, but aside from that, I think they lost every single time, so...
Indeed. SPT taking their time to pick this. They're probably just going to Quan Zhao and just like, hey, what do you want to play? And he has chosen Vala. And who can blame him?
The Vala God here being deployed once again, Quan Zhao. Strong candidate actually for China's best ranged assassin player. I think he's kind of in contention with Zuya from CE and maybe Loktar from RPG. I think those 3 are probably the top 3.
I would agree. So, second ban rotations, second supports, heroes for Melody C. Basically, you found out that Melody C is a really solid Li Ming. Maybe ban that out again.
I still think they should probably ban something like Malthael, unless they want to play it themselves, which of course is very much a possibility with Uther. And first pick after the second ban round. They bet that's a giveaway. They need to ban Malthael right now, and the immediate response, there we go. SPT shall not be fooled today. And that's exactly the thing we talked about in the first draft. Tyrael counters the Malthael very well. Malthael is very powerful with Uther, so there were too many obvious clues for SPT to just ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. So SPT just removed the Malthael, easy peasy, no issues at all. So now, what are SoA going to run as their damage? Lunara has still been left open, so they can just still pick that.
Yeah, Lunara is also a great choice against Auriel in general. If you just spread out the poison a lot, Auriel is going to have a long enough, or a too long cooldown on her healing to really keep everybody in good shape, so I wouldn't hate it. It also takes away one of the biggest threats still to Uther. You know what else I wouldn't hate, to be honest? Going for a Zarya. I think, I'm not sure if Uncle G still plays it, or if they can play around it with Faye going for the main support, but I think whenever they played Zarya last phase, they looked exceptionally strong.
Yep,
but now it's not really, now it's not really likely anymore, because they did have the Arthas, and they go for the double support, double full tank. Tetra, yeah. I think we might see a stage dive here.
I would agree with the stage dive, but the fact is, right now, I would really like SPT to just take Lunara.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Single support is going to be a little rough, but as long as they take a really solid second tank, I think they're going to have a really, really good time of it.
And it would also be the perfect last pick for SoA if you take into consideration that there's a lot of slows available now with that Arthas to really proc the unfair advantage all the time. It just needs to be picked. But then they would probably have to go solo support, right? With the Haka. If they go double support now...
Fine. Like, the only person who really... If Valak has 2 different healing talents at level 13, as long as she doesn't instantly blow up and plays safe, then you can leave her to be relatively self-sufficient. They go over Leoric as a tank. Lunara... Okay, double support for the Vala, and that means this is going to be a Lunara for SoA as the last pick with very little question, unless they want to be cheeky and maybe go for a Tracer or something like that.
That's a little bit too much, I think. That would be a little bit too much on the melee front, because technically speaking, Tracer sometimes actually counts more as a melee assassin because she has to approach her targets so...
Yeah, she has an ability literally called melee.
Exactly. Right. So that would be a little bit too much, I think, especially against a Leoric who could get tons of value with the March of the Black King this way. I don't hate the Lunara, to be honest. I don't see any other reason or any other ranged assassin that would get as much value here.
Like, maybe Cassia? Just for blinds against Valor, but that's not going to have a huge amount of value against Dahaka. Puts you in danger of being dragged because of range. Reyna, you could get the anti-stun to stop yourself being dragged. Tychus, you're out against a double tank. Would be the worst.
Okay, we totally forgot about the Greymane.
Yeah, we did.
The Greymane didn't really work out last time too well, but I think now the team comps look a lot differently from last time. Now they have a double support, like a full double healer at the ready. They have a Divine Shield ready, potentially, which is very important. For both Greymane and ETC, by the way. I'm not feeling it, though. Like, something about SoA's draft doesn't make me feel it.
Yeah, I would have preferred Lunana. I maybe would have even preferred Cassia, but...
Oh, absolutely.
This is fine. And that's basically it. It's fine. It's going to do really good damage as long as it doesn't get CC'd. And if it does get CC'd, they have double cleanse. It should be good.
Exactly. Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. I think SPT has what it takes to really demolish the composition from SoA in just a whiff. However, SoA proved to be quite resilient. They refused to die just like that, and even when signs weren't looking too good, they still managed to salvage unfortunate situations quite handsomely. So, can they repeat that success? However, I'm still a little bit skeptical. I feel like they overdid it with the amount of tankiness and protection they bring to the table. I'm a little bit skeptical whether Greymane as a solo DPS is going to cut it, really. Because, once again, there's so much disengage on the side of SPT. They also, too, have a lot of protection at their disposal. And I think the Earth ally alone by Karzim is going to cripple Greymane's combat performance so much. But we're going to find out which holds true in game number 2 here between SPT and SoA. Let's do it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cursed Hollow. On the left-hand side, we have the team that's leading 1-0, SPT, with Quinzhao on Vala, Melody C on the Karazim, Misaka on the Leoric, So plays the Haka, and ZZH on his Oriel. Whereas
on the right-hand side, it is going to be start over again, with Faye on Arthas, Uncle G on Uther, TY on the Grey Main, Spark BC on ETC, and Molly, once again, the usual ranged assassin player, is bringing out the Rhaegar.
Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, can SoA hold their own here? 1 point against SPT is a big success to any other team in the league. Don't get me wrong here. SPT is the team to beat. They are the top dog in the league right now. Still have to defend their title as well. I think it's not going to be too hard to do that in the form they're currently showing. The one talents here, no major surprises, I think.
Nah, everything looks relatively normal, other than the
Ariel maybe.
Wolf. Ariel, the reduced cooldown. Grey Main with the Inner Wolf's cooldown reduction, the Inner Beast cooldown reduction,
right,
so that he can likely go for a more auto-attack favored build, so he can stay at range and not just have to rely on cocktails, which will be healed up very quickly by Karazim. More focus, basically. He wants to stay at range, which once again does open him up to the issue of that Earth ally, but it's still definitely safer for him.
Absolutely true. Now, Quinzhao already dishing out the damage, chipping people away, and pay close attention to the way he moves with Vala. His stubborn stepping is so good, and I know every pro player does it, right? But there's always a little bit of a difference on how you move those tiny little steps in between. Do you actually expose yourself a little bit more? Do you calculate the enemy cooldown so you can afford to actually play a little bit more aggressively? If you want to learn how to play Vala, I think Quinzhao is the player to observe here very carefully.
Indeed, he is very solid. Like, if you want to learn how to play Vala as just a really insanely good assassin, the kind of play that you could use in Hero League, then Zhen Zhao is the player to watch. If you want to learn how to play a Vala where you will look like a god, but potentially die a lot, Zuyu is the player to watch.
Very true. Couldn't have said it better myself. However, Vala is now trapped in the Howling Blast with that Frozen Tempest and the body blocks by the Mighty Cow. I don't think there's any chance for him to get out of safety, or to safety, I should say. Another Howling Blast lands, and I think they might get the double kill here in the middle. Nice gank. Look at those heavy melee aggression plays here coming in for SoA. It's good.
The crowd control is real as they hit level 4 first. We see, in fact, the Holy Shock coming in from Uther. The Inner Beast the Wolf Form armor coming in from Grey Main, or is wait, is that the armor or is that the stealth one?
Let me just double check for you here real quick. No, it is the thick skin. It is thick skin.
Okay.
Ice in the Dark
so
has a little bit of a more glowing green background.
Yes, it does. Just found it, and it's also the human form as the wolf form. So. Yep. Cool. So this actually could be that he's potentially going for a Walken build. He's left himself even more open. ETC comes in with a double stun. Immediately they put the focus onto Zhen Zhao, and Zhen Zhao gets cleaned.
Quinzhao, man, this guy is having a tough time. Look at the power slide, almost making it, almost not making it Spark BZ. But man, SoA is turning on the heat, and you know what the best thing about this is? They're not even losing value elsewhere because they were fighting 4 versus 4. Molly on the Rhaegar, keeping Misaka on the Leoric in check, and that's the cool thing about Rhaegar. He's a surprisingly strong duelist.
What is this? Okay, they give up. I was about to say that is ambitious, to say the least. Oh, hang on, Vala very nearly went that way. They find Melody C instead, and Melody C finds death. So, I would like to point out just very quickly that we have reaffirmed the caster curse, where there are currently 4 kills that SoA have claimed, and the very first thing we basically said in this game was, watch Zhen Zhao, he's one of the best Vala players in the world, and he has been half the death.
Watch him very carefully!
Oh, he's dead again! Look at him! Best player in the world!
There are certain heroes where you can sometimes feed to win, like Uther or Leoric, but Vala is definitely not one of them. And SoA is not afraid to go back in. Unfortunately, the Determined Strike too good by ZZH, and now SoA is on the retreat. TY taking a lot of damage. Ooh, there we go. That's more like Quinzhao. There we go.
Yeah, putting on some good damage here. Grey Main getting taken out, and down goes Faye. SPT begins the snowball, and they also take a level lead, despite being behind this entire time.
Here we go. Shout out to Krager1978, by the way, saying that finally a Vala player I can identify with. We all have those games, you know, even the best Vala players. There we go. But finally, SPT is starting to stabilize, because what we can't forget about this heavy aggression playstyle by SoA, they always used 4 or more team members to exactly achieve that. So as a result, they missed out on soaking a couple of lanes in the process, and Leoric did a fantastic job at actually doing exactly that. So now with them stabilizing and maybe even getting a kill on Molly here, there's... Oh, cheeky B-step. They're starting to take the lead quite handsomely.
We do see the Quicksilver bullets coming in from Greymane, so he's gone for a little bit of a hybrid build. He can stay at range as much as he likes, but if he does go in, he wants to stay a little bit safer. So he has that thick skin there for that, and ZZH just abandons the tribute, does not want to get himself killed here, as SoA begin to move in. They have everyone here except for ETC as they try to focus down Melody C. Oh, that's decent positioning for Spark BZ, but not able to get it. Instead, they turn onto ZZH, while Soap is actually causing a lot of disruption into the backline, being some very good body blocks, as Fei is the one who is focused down and will be the one to fall in this fight. Maybe some more as we see Soap continuing the chase. Good detainment strike, gets Uther as well. Spark BZ with the stun though. Might let him out, he's dropping low! Uther healing will keep him alive.
Yeah, that is the beauty of punishment here and going for that W build Vala. You get so much damage done against all those clumped up melee heroes once you have enough hatred stacks, and Kun Zhao is really bringing the pain after having a little bit of a rough start. Now it's starting all to work out like a charm. And I do want to say though, that SoA actually started this fight kind of nicely, but then unfortunately ETC served as an escape mechanism for Karzim, who was dropping so low in health. Using a cheeky dash to the Mighty Cow in order to get out of harm's way. And now things are starting to escalate very quickly here. SPT, level 10 unlocked. Once again, Divine Palm, Adaptation, Crystal Aegis. I think they respect the amount of damage SoA is capable of dishing out, and they go for all the defensive tools available for them.
Indeed, they do. So, with the heroics, like you said, all of those defensive tools, even the March of the Black King. You could argue Entomb's maybe a little bit more defensible, but for Misaka, it's an unstoppable, it's healing, it is good sustain abilities for him. And with the next tribute spawning, SoA aren't actually at that level 10 yet. They're attempting to kill some structures down in the bot lane to gain some more value here. They've 4 members down here. They're just giving up the curse.
Uh-oh, and the ambush, the trap has been set, but SPT doesn't really make it spring. We go, and that is the curse. I'm not sure, like, this is a classic play or a classic situation of SoA being very indecisive. Had they gone for a pressure power play in the bottom lane, they could have maybe gotten a structure. Had they gone to the tribute sooner, they could have maybe stalled it out and contested it a little bit more. As it is, though, they didn't really get anything done, and as such, it's looking mighty grim for them. The Cow actually escaping, once again, Oriel being a nice guy and helping him out to escape. But they're taking a lot of structural damage from this first curse.
Not as much as it could have been, though. Top's already dead, Bots was already weakened, and they've been able to clear those up relatively well. Bot's the only one that's actually taking a huge amount of damage. Mid will die, but that was pretty much inevitable at some point due to how low it was before this started.
Exactly. So more structures are falling, 13 is getting closer and closer, and SoA just can't really stabilize. Now goes the stage dive, not
ambitious.
Landing. I mean, they might as well try, right? They might as well try. If you're so far behind, the only way you can come back is by going for those risky plays that can work, but can also not work.
Rhaegar is playing with my heart, and we both know that he is lying to us all. Hovering on his heroic. Like, Bloodlust, there's no hammer on. Uther didn't go for auto-attack build. The only person that really affects is Greymane.
Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams here. I think that's exactly what you need to do. Like, Bloodlust is a playmaker. Ancestral Healing, I think, is just delaying the inevitable. So if you really want to win those team fights, swinging guns blazing, you need to go for the Bloodlust right now.
You heard it here from Kendrick first. Bloodlust is the way to go. Ancestral Healing sucks, as we do see TY getting Divine Shielded. Bloodlust turning it round, looking for Soap here, and Melody C in the backline. The March of the Black King, though, getting so much value. ETC causing disruption, and that Bloodlust did nothing.
It didn't do much, because SPT just played around it so nicely. Leoric waited for the March of the Black King until Bloodlust was used. Then, when they were about to focus him down, he just popped the Mighty Maze and healed for so much. Also, Crystal Aegis, beautiful to really deny all that follow-up damage. I think Bloodlust, in theory, could have worked. It was just that SPT played too well around it.
I really dislike the Bloodlust. There's no synergy. It only affects Greymane. Like, ETC, they could have taken Hammer on and got a little bit of sustain. He hits okay. Arthur's could have at least taken a Rune Tap and got some more sustain out of it. There's only one stun on the enemy team outside of Rain of Vengeance. He could have got away with it. Uther has a level 1 talent that gives him mana and cooldown reduction on his CC if he when he auto-attacks, so he could have taken synergy out of it.
Okay, Tetra, here's another problem. I just looked at 13 talents for SPT. Look at Leoric. All he needs to do is drop one Wraith Walk and just be like, whoosh, 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 and he hits the entire team of SoA who's bloodlusted. They're like, oh, we got this, and then all of a sudden the bloodlust frenzy goes down, toes down, everyone gets calm and soothed down, and 50% less damage for 4 seconds. I'm not sure how many seconds bloodlust lasts. I think it's 6 seconds. So most of it you can definitely deny by the Ominous Wraith.
Kill him! Adaptation is procced, and he just leaves.
Yeah, it's I just feel very sorry for SoA at this point. They showed us a good game 1, but it feels like here in Cursed Hollow, they're just getting outplayed in almost any way, shape, or form. They're being toyed around with those damage reduction. Well, never mind, stage dive going in, and this time, Daka has to fall though. There we go.
Finally, they get him. Melody C is now the target. He has nowhere to go except to the minions. What a guy.
What a guy.
He slowed, speed boost, dodges the root. Melody C lives, but the keep goes down as well. That is a good play.
He didn't even have his Earth ally ready, which is normally a safe escape route if you have a Radiant Dash plus the Earth ally, or any ally basically. But that was so well done. Like in those situations where you're about to die, you need to look at the minimap and you need to realize, okay, where are my minions? Where's any target that I can dash to? And that's exactly what he did, changing his course of his flight route, if you will, to really get out of harm's way. And this goes to show why Melody C is one of the strongest players in the league. Like, I think a lot of other Kharazim players would have not had the brilliance to really look at the minimap, remain a little bit calm, and then just escape, and like a swaggy pants, man. That was just so good.
Yeah, you always feel the need to, like, okay, I have no fort, why would I run through the lane? In this case, you have minions, you can dash to it. He just keeps Valor alive, and Jet Zhao just rolls back through. The Divine Shield on Greymane allows him to drop a little bit of damage, but the second it pops, a Rain of Vengeance lands on him. Bloodlust is popped, but it might be a bit too late. He's getting some good life.
Oh, the Wraith Walk!
TY staying alive. The Ominous Wraith is so good, though. Stage Dive will slow the chase here, but Leoric is wrecking the backline here, doing so much. He might not get any kills, but he basically single-handedly ended this fight. Somehow no one died except maybe Arthas, who is still being chased up in top lane.
Actually, Tetra, I think that was a very respectable retreat by SoA. I definitely thought they would lose at least 2 or 3 team members there after this early team fight going so terribly wrong. But yeah, kudos to them for staying alive, at least for now, but at what cost? I think they're not going to be able to defend this middle keep. All of their heroic abilities, bar the Go for the Throat, are in cooldown. There's nothing they can do to really stop this onslaught. Well, at least Dahaka doesn't join the fray, so they maybe can hold it for now.
Yeah, but he didn't join the fray because he grabbed a tribute and is now pushing another lane with a Siege Giant camp. So this already turns into another rough position. ETC power slide misses. Pulling back, Leoric is just getting consistent poke and consistent draining on there.
Can you see the immediate follow up by Melody C? Like, whenever Quan Zhao uses one of those multi-shots, dealing heavy amounts of damage, the Kharazim was just following in with a Radiant Dash. It was so cool to see, really combining their damage rather than just, you know, poking a little bit here, poking a little bit there. They're really trying to get that synergy going, and it looks so cool. I would love to see Quan Zhao's damage numbers, by the way, at the end of the game, because I think the level 4 talent Punishment plus the multi-shot build in general gives him so much value against that constant clumping that SoA's doing so far.
It is definitely working in his favor here. Here comes Misaka again, gets the slow. Melody C jumping into the backline, focusing that TY. Stage Dive will slow basically only Misaka, as the do see the Bloodlust is popped. Divine Shield on the ETC actually, as Uncle G is forced back. TY is already dead, and that's the damage. So it's basically just Faye trying to hold the line at this point with the healers trying to keep him alive. And he does live. And it is still a 4 versus 5, so it's unlikely that SPT can actually core.
It's crazy. So much protection available with that Bloodlust, movement speed, you know, all the shields coming in from Rhaegar, the Uther heals on point, the Divine Shield. Despite SPT getting a couple of really good engages going, they just can't seem to kill anyone. But they don't even have to, Tetra. They don't have to kill anyone. They go for the curse, easy piece. I think they could have actually delayed it a little bit more before starting the boss, so they would have had a boss pushing. And they wouldn't have wasted any curse moments here. But as it is, I don't think it's going to matter that much. That boss is definitely going to be a winning option here. A winning condition. Because as we know, the bottom keep has been destroyed earlier already.
Yeah, and they're going to have, with this mini wave arriving at about the same time the boss will, they're going to have at least one catapult with this. Two, if SoA are very undiligent and don't kill the catapults currently in lane, but you can see Greymane is already on top of that moving forward. Dahaka tunnels forward, finds an Arthas, but a nice cleanse coming out there. A hand of protection gets him out of danger.
Yeah, the Frost Shot slowing down the Greymane. Here comes the counter engage with a stage dive.
Daedrin died from behind because it zoned out Valor as the Bloodlust is popped. ETC is not caught in a Divine Shield this time onto the Greymane. He's dropping these down.
Missed,
trying desperately to focus down Valor, and they get it just as the palm expires. Smartbees, he survives by power sliding back through the rest of his team. Faye is cruising massive disruption into the backline. The boss has been completely ignored though, and is going for the core as SoA are winning the fight, but Leoric is turning it round. So much damage just crushing through the team here. It's a 2-for-1 still in favor of SoA, but the members who are still alive of LEC have too much health. There's too much damage, Kendrick, as the core goes down. The cow lived, but the game is over, and SPT take the series with a 2-0.
Leoric going for those pounding maces over and over again, thanks to the Royal Focus and, of course, the Ominous Wraith synergy. Beautifully done. All they had to do was just wait for the boss to finish it, and you know, so they gave it a good shot. They're not too disheartened. They have a smile left for us because they put up a good fight overall, but in the end, they were just too heavily outclassed by SPT, who once again undermine why they are the Chinese powerhouse to be on the lookout for right now, especially if you're going to BlizzCon.
Exactly. If any of the teams from the other regions who are very serious about winning do not do at least a little bit of research onto SPT, then they are going to be in serious trouble, assuming that they can get their full roster to the event. For now, though, very cool game. SoA, so much hope and potential in that first game. It's just they look a little bit more rusty. They're a little bit more rough around the edges than SPT. They've shown they have the skill. There's a little bit of coordination, a little bit of decision making that they still need to work out together. And the fact that they've improved so much every single season, give it like 1-2 more phases, they could almost certainly be in the top 2, maybe top 1.
And something that's also mind-blowing when talking about SoA as a team is the fact that they've never had a consistent lineup. They always change their roster, introducing new players, getting rid of old players, and we all know how long it can take pro teams to actually find that synergy that you really need in order to prevail in HGC. Look at teams like Dignitas in the past. They struggled so much when Alex the Prodigy was first introduced, when Zelia was introduced. However, SoA in China, they just made it work like a charm. They get better from season to season, despite the fact that they never have a consistent roster.